coming to another essay, that is contemporary Indian society needs reforms. This was an essay that I have given in Group 1 Nitya Sadhana. So I have mentioned various resources there. Mostly I have taken this information from our NCRTs and National Institute of Open School Society books. So how will you address this essay? Before coming to this essay part, let's decode it once and understand the concepts associated with it. Contemporary Indian society needs reforms. That means contemporary Indian society has certain problems. Why do you need reforms? Because you want to set things in right order, which is not in right order. Simple, right? So contemporary society needs reforms means the present society is witnessing certain problems, therefore it has to be reformed again. Actual reformation of society is witnessed in 18th century. It was called cultural renaissance in India's history, in the modern history. But people are unable to realize the present reformation, which is a dire need for Indian society. Example, modernization is converted into westernization, and people calling westernization as modernization. Isn't it? Just coming to. So, suppose having Western culture and food, wearing Western dress, example of Western food, also the premises, the recreating premises, and going into the Western places, right? All are looking like modernized world. They equating it with civilized world. So you have certain problems with it, because people are unable to differentiate between this kind of modernization, actual civilization, with the westernization. What is the problem of westernization? There is no problem in adapting and accepting different cultures and embracing the plurality and diversity of the society and building such a kind of tolerance, right? This is good, but completely losing your identity is not good. You should never lose your identity in the form of modernization and misinterpreting as westernization. Okay? This is not the right case with respect to what do they want? Right? This is what. So fundamental theme of the essay is you have to emphasize more on the present day society. What reforms are mostly essential and required? Reforms here, giving introduction. What are they? Casteism, dowry, communalism, drug addiction, alcoholism, and security of people, and vulnerability of various sections of society, women, children, elderly people. And this is the problem of the contemporary society, and increasing old age homes, and subnuclearization of families, and collapsing family system in Indian society, which is a fundamental unit of our society, and at the same time communalism, casteism, dowry, drinking, all these things, and adapting it as modernization rather than feeling it as uncivilized social construction. Okay, so how do you resolve? This is more important thing. That is what examiner needs, because they want reforms to the present society. So especially the Indian society. So following is an example taken from NCRT. So there are a few boys and girls who are going to school in the Madhya Pradesh region, and the girls are usually mocked and teased by the boys, okay, who are commuting between the schools and the home. So this is the problem, the prejudiceness and stereotypism associated with the gender in a society, which is hindering the growth of a particular gender of the society. So the present society needs reforms in the form of gender inequality. You have to bring that gender inequality and gender sensitization as part of your value system, which should be inculcated in the education institution and in the family culture. This is one of the issues. So I have given an introduction as a case study, a realistic case study, by taking an example from what? By taking an example from NCERT. Next, coming to this thesis statement. So what should you do to address this kind of situation? The major issues and problems of contemporary society is our first step. And second step is to discuss issues like caste system, dowry, and substance abuse, that is addictive use of other drug and alcohol, right? Abused use of them. Next, examine the issues related with vulnerable groups like children, women, and finally giving a solution. Okay? Way forward. So, what are the major problems? Just now I have mentioned. How will you mention? Just by taking reports from NCRB, Crime Records Bureau, National Crime Records Bureau, or taking records from Human Rights Commission. Okay, you have to mention those reports and various opinions expressed by experts and sociologists and articles inspired from editorials. Likewise. So, I have given reasons regarding caste system and issues associated with it, how it is prevalent in the present day society. And the present day society, example, in the urban societies also, ghettoization is one of the elements that is even having inherent casteism. Example, in a gated community, most of the communities are forward caste who stay in those gated communities. So this ghettoization takes place in even urban areas, and at the same time to get to become a tenant of those places will become a little difficult for the person who has come from lower caste. This is another problem. Okay. Next, coming to this part. But with the beginning of this specializing in hereditary professions and coming in contact with indigenous people situation, changed the birth of a person and decided their caste. This is. So, the caste, rather than being a profession, is completely attributed to a person by birth. And the discrimination is also becoming inevitable since the birth of a particular caste of the society. So, this should be addressed by promoting interdining and marriages, intercaste marriages, and also people lower caste should be given more upliftment in the form of various schemes, policies already in execution, but they should be more prudent and effective in nature. So these are fundamental aspects that you need to address. And second thing, issues related to women and equal pay for equal work, and also sexual violence, abuse at workplace. And these are the issues. Even though woman is given an opportunity, woman is exploring herself to become a leader in the society. Still, the society hasn't been allowing to take up the leadership in this present gender biased society, right? So, how will you address this? So, not only bringing various acts, okay, but also the sensitization measures that you are bringing, that is more important. And pseudo feminism has also been addressed to reduce the stereotypism associated with gender equality, because people who talk about gender equality may also face certain problems due to this pseudo feminist culture which is emanating in the present society. That is also very important. You need to address that point. Okay. So I have given few case studies and testimonies. Likewise, you need to build your own point. Recently, government has started a scheme with the protection of girl child. The scheme is called Ludley. It is an amount set aside at the time of birth of a girl child, which she gets when she completes 18 years of age. This is like a Sukanya Samruddhi Yojana. So this kind of scheme will reduce early marriage of a girl child, and it will promote literacy, and not only literacy but also higher education of a girl child. These are certain things that you need to address in the form of schemes and policies. So, and I have also mentioned the reports of World Bank. There, a new agenda for women's health and nutrition. That is a World Bank document. estimates that in developing countries, 450 million adult women have their development problems due to lack of protein input during their childhood. During their childhood, they are suffering from issues of protein food. Okay, due to lack of this protein food, 450 million adult women have the problems of developmental issues, the physical and mental growth. This is a World Bank document submitted. So, and in the form of literacy rate for women is significantly lower than that of men. In 66 countries, the gap is very high. So, at least 10 percentage points in 40 countries. So, this is also a report taken from those World Bank documents and authorities. Next, dowry system, and this is one of the issues, and they have, and even Indian society, we have passed various laws, Dowry Prohibition Act 1961 and Domestic Violence Act, Prohibition of Domestic Violence Act. This is 2005. Okay. Still, there are certain administrative lacunas involved in this to deliver this service effectively at the ground level, and also to stop misuse of this kind of protection measure provided to women has to be addressed with lot of sensitivity to balance gender equality and also gender stereotypism issues. Next, substance abuse and addiction. The range of substance abuse has been increasing exponentially in Indian societies, especially in the southern parts of the country, especially southern states. So, this substance abuse has to be addressed by not only bringing the policies but also bringing certain change in the mindset of the people, especially the youth who are in the teenage and tender age. They have to be educated regarding the substance abuse and also the abused use of this addicted alcoholism, right? So this will actually reduce the productivity of the society and also the harmony of the society. It will create lot of chaotic condition in a peaceful, harmonious society. So this substance abuse has to be addressed holistically as a social responsibility of various stakeholders, including the family and the elders, and also the teachers and education institutions and health professionals, okay, and media personals and civil society as a union has to develop this as a value system, but not to become addicted to these substances. So the society has to take up this as a whole leadership measure, and this is a community leadership rather than an individual leadership or relying on an individual, that is a political leader, somebody. So the contemporary society needs reforms in bringing the collectivization in addressing the problems or individualizing the issues. For example, substance abuse is considered as to be, it is an individual interest. Alcoholism is individual interest. That is the notion that is built in the society. But you need to build and reform the society that you have a collective responsibility to address this menace. This is not an individual interest. This has to be addressed as a collective responsibility, the problems associated with it, and how to address, they have to bring various stakeholders, that is civil society and media personals and education institutions, health professionals, likewise. So, likewise, the communalism. Communalism is not only a threat to society but also the democratic values and spirit of democracy. Okay, so the spirit of democracy has to be strengthened by bringing plurality into the society and also embracing diversity, and at the same time inclusivity. That is the fundamental and foundational pillar of a democracy, in which the communalism has to be addressed more sensitively and very stringently. Okay. These are the issues, and elderly people, I have given a lot of data from the census there. You can use that data in the document that I will post you now. So our culture to respect elders should be again imbibed in young generation so that the aged can maintain their self-respect. Therefore, the aged people are unable to get that kind of dignity and respect as you have witnessed in the earlier times in our society. So this is a cultural value and heritage which we have been carrying throughout centuries, has to be promoted for the next generation too. This is the contemporary society needs reforms in terms of the ideas and the attitude. Not only the 18th century reforms against this child marriage and also promoting widow remarriage and against sati. Likewise, now this is an advanced society. This is an advanced society in which the society itself had created various problems. Example: the pornography and digital cyber issues. Especially, it is also promoting the stereotypism associated with gender and casteism, communalism. Okay, the society has to be always updated in reforming itself. The society has to update itself to reform itself. This is more important. So, as per changing dynamics of technological and social and political aspects, the society has to adapt to those changes and address the problems associated with it and make it more civilized. This is the contemporary society. Always, this is contemporary in nature. The contemporary society should have that kind of sensibility in reforming itself. So, way forward and problems and issues, everything is given there. You can please have an understanding about these issues, and tomorrow I will be giving you 2 more essays and giving you explanation about it, right? All the best. Try to write essays for these topics and develop your own idea and your own examples, your own statistics, and finally get them evaluated by me. Okay, all the best.